Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lined up. Got a special guest here from FWC. But first, let's get our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. We're looking at a high today. They're calling for a 64 and a low of 45. A little bit cooler. Got that rain coming in, but that had come in and brought in a bit of cool air. So it's going to be pretty nice, really. Enjoy this cool air while you can. In about a couple months, you're going to be saying, "Where's that cool air?" Water temperature continues to go up. It went up, like I say, yesterday it went up from 56 to 62. Well, today is 63. So it's really getting up there pretty rapidly as we're looking at it. River readings, the Apalachicola Bluntstown, looking on the screen there, it's going to bump up a little bit today. It's 15.6, and it's just opposite of what it had yesterday. We don't know what it's going to be tomorrow, but it just changes every day. That's when we show it. So it's going to be dropping out now after tomorrow. It's going to be falling for the weekend, but this morning it's 15.6. Chalkatouche at Carabelle, it's reading this morning 9.5. It's in good shape over there. So both rivers are active, and if there's going to be some good catfish caught the next couple of weeks, I can promise you, on these rivers, okay? Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Just neat tide, just not much movement at all, but its wind's really going to affect it. The wind's going to be coming out of west-southwest at 25 to 35 today, so be aware of that. It's really going to be blowing today. All right, takes care of our weather, so we'll be right back. Welcome back, folks, and welcome to a familiar face here. Every month we get Travis Bassford. Good morning.
Good morning.
Always glad to have Travis come on the show. It always brings some good things. Well, today you brought some pictures. So what's going on with the pictures here? That's some nice grouper there.
Yeah, well, I had some family come in from Michigan, and they come down every year around this time, and took them saltwater fishing. And the pass was still kind of slow when they were down last week, and the Sheep's Head, there were fish there, but they just weren't biting too good. We had, I think one day we caught 3, another day we caught 1 or 2, and I told him, I said, well, I know a spot we can go pull on some fish. I said, most of them is closed right now, and I told him about amberjack going up. I said, so they wanted to go catch some big saltwater fish. So we went off, and that was my cousin right there with a nice gag. He caught on the jig.
Wow.
My cousin Matt, and then there was one I ended up getting.
Oh, you caught that one?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So he was healthy, and we vented all these fish, and they did good getting back down. We were trying to catch some scamp and some beeliners, but these guys kept grabbing our end of our lines. So.
Well, they knew they were going to get released.
Oh, yeah. There's my cousin Greg with one. So, yeah, they know when the season is. But, this time of year, the group, this was an inshore wreck there right offshore, and they move in shallow in the wintertime.
Well, that's why people, and that's why they're protected, because they'll be wiped out.
They are. They're vulnerable. That's when the biologists say they spawn. There's some little juvenile amberjack there, and they had a good time. And then that last one, that was a day I just let them. I
got to go over here. Jeff,
go.
I got to find this one.
It
went to the jetties.
There it is. Yeah. I let my uncle and my cousin borrow my boat, and they went out there sheep's head fishing. They caught one sheep's head, and my uncle hooked that on some sheep's head tackles, like 8-pound test.
That's right there at the jetties.
That's on the East Jetty Point there.
On an 8-pound test.
On a live shrimp. And thought he had a redfish and fought him for about 10 minutes, and it was a big old grouper. I couldn't believe he caught him on 8 pound.
8 pound.
Because grouper usually, run in a hole or in a rock, and he got it in, so that was pretty impressive.
That's cool.
Yep. So we had a good time.
And that shows you have a good time and not have to keep the fish all the time. But
exactly, yeah.
That was good. So that wasn't really, they're spawning this time of year. That's why they're protected.
Correct. And they've had that closure in the winter for quite some time now. So, and we can start, with the gag grouper size limit. That's a new thing. Just came out with the commission meeting. It's going to go up. It's been 22 inches for a long time, and they're going to bump that up to 24 inches. A couple reasons they're doing that is, number one, gag and black, not so much in our area, but once you get a little farther south, they're confused a lot. And I've heard people say, I caught a lot of black grouper. Well, here it's 99% of the time it's actually a gag grouper, and they're saying black, but it'll be the same as a black grouper size limit, 24 inches now in the Gulf and the Atlantic for gag and black. But what they did is they also bumped the season up, extended it another month. Instead of opening on July 1st, it's going to open June 1st. So that'll give us another month, even though they need to be a little bit bigger. They did that because during red snapper season, a lot of gags are caught, whether they're being targeted or not. And when you release fish, once you get more than about 90, 100 feet, sometimes it's, even if you vent them and do everything you're supposed to, sometimes those big fish don't make it. Now you'll be able to throw them in the box if they're legal size.
Well, that's a great rule change right there, because that does happen. If you go out there on these boats, you see that happen every day.
It does. They've got to get down and get that air bladder back, and then you got dolphins, barracudas, and sharks after them. So.
Well, that's good. So in June, you just get a double header.
Exactly.
Because everybody's going to snapper and grouper.
Yep, that's right.
Cool.
So that's going to go into effect again June 1st this year. Gag grouper going up to 24 inches on the size limit. And next thing we can talk about with red snapper, they came back with a state season, federal season, to be determined. But the state season got extended by 8 days.
Okay.
Last year we had that 70-day season, which everyone was real excited about that. This year they're going to up it 8 more days. And it's going to start a little early. It's going to start Saturdays and Sundays starting May 7th. That's going to run through May 28th. And then from May 28th through July 10th, it'll be open continuously every day. And then we're going to go into that Saturday and Sundays back, and it'll open again in September, Saturdays and Sundays, September and October.
Yeah, and Travis, I've talked to a lot of folks about it, and everybody I've talked to is excited about it. That's good, it's fair to everybody, and everybody just feels really good about that.
I agree completely. I agree completely because, when I'm not working, I'm fishing too, and I enjoy going out and doing that. And we've seen red snapper really come back. It's a fishery that's really, really healthy. And we were out there trying to catch some vermilions or beeliners, and we were catching a lot of red snapper, I can tell you. And letting them go, obviously. But so it'll be extended 8 days, and you gain those 8 days on the Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays in September and October. Last year we just had Saturdays and Sundays. This year in the kind of late summer, early fall season, that September and October, they're going to give us Fridays too. So 4 days a month, that'll add up to, in September and October, give us the 8 more days.
And you know as well as I do, that's fun fishing in the fall.
It is.
It's a little bit cooler, and fishing a little bit bigger. They've been eating all summer.
Oh, yeah.
And a good time to go.
Yep.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Travis. All right, welcome back. Before we get back with Travis, let me get with this. We're going to add a name. I saw Paul Newman at the Redfish tournament, and he asked me to please put his name in. Paul's a good loyal viewer, so you're right there, Paul Newman. And that's not the actor Paul Newman. That's that fishing. He really enjoys fishing, Panhandle Outdoor, watching Paul Newman. All right. So what else we got now? We're going into some trout. Was it trout you're going to talk about?
We're going to talk about speckled trout a little bit because it's going to be targeted pretty heavy here in the next week or so.
Yeah.
We're going to have, everyone's aware of, in the Bay County area, the Warren Bayou closure, November through February. That's a steam plant canal, the discharge canal. That's going to open March 1st. And it's very popular. People run up there, especially if you still have some cool weather. The fish will still be stacked in there.
Did you get to fish it this year, Andy? Have you fished it or checked it?
I fished it a little bit, actually, with my family. We went up there, and it was a real good, we had a great time. We caught flounder, redfish, black drum, speckled trout, and the artificial bite was real good on the incoming tide.
I just didn't get a lot of reports from folks on it this year. So
they're in there.
Yeah, good.
They are in there. And so what's coming up is, we obviously released all our fish. Everything is closed to harvest. Doesn't matter what it is inside that canal right now. March 1st, it's going to open. And if we still have cooler weather, the fish will be stacked in there. And it's a very popular speckled trout spot. Well, I just want to remind everyone, March 1st, you can keep your fish. 5 fish per person on speckled trout, but only 1 can be over 20 inches. And you and I both know usually there's a lot of trout in there that are well over 20.
Yeah.
So you can only have 1 per person over 20. I just want to remind people because that gets confused a lot, and there's a lot of, there's trout in there 25, 28, 30 inches long. And we just want to make sure that everyone can enjoy that resource, but at the same time follow the correct size limit, which would be only 1 fish over 20 inches.
Okay, good deal.
So, and that goes for all your fish in there. The size limits will apply, and that's going to open March 1st. So this week will be the last week of deer season. Feels like it flew by, kind of.
I know it. It's wrapping up. I'm still getting pictures, though, but it's winding down. So.
It is. And, I was in St. Andrews State Park last night, and I saw a tall rack 8-point, and he was right on a doe. He was chasing hard. And that's what's cool about it. We have this extended season, But for a lot of coastal counties, the southern part of it, they're just really rutting hard right now. So they're kind of hitting the rut here at the end. And on the flip side, like up where I hunt up in Jackson, those guys are getting to hunt some post rut when kind of they're worn down and they really start hitting the feed again, and sometimes expose themselves in the daylight because they're hungry. They're worn down. So
a good point there. Yeah.
So it's pretty neat, and that's going to run from February 22nd to February 28th. All legal muzzle loaders, crossbows, and bows during that time. And I had a question the other day about a certain type of muzzle loader. It's an electronic ignition. I don't know if you've seen those, heard of them. I haven't seen one in the field. I've heard about them.
Yeah.
It actually has like a 9-volt battery that's on the side of the muzzle loader. That is the ignition to make it go off. And that's not considered legal during muzzleloader. You can hunt with that during general gun. CVA makes one.
That was the discrepancy people were talking about being breech loaded and all. So that's
correct.
That's the one they're talking about. You can't use that.
Right.
We don't. That wouldn't be fun anyway. I wouldn't think.
No, and some people want them, but that would be something applied during general gun.
Yeah.
So, anyways, just wanted to touch on that, and hopefully everybody, if you like to black powder hunt and muzzleloader hunt, then you got this last weekend to go get your buck. So that's going to be wrapping up on the 28th. Deer season's over, and then right into spring turkey. Everyone will be getting ready for that.
They're keeping you busy, aren't they?
They are. So we got all this fish stuff going on, and then we got turkey opening up. So for our area, that's going to be March 19th is when turkey's going to open. We're going to run to April 24th, and again, bearded gobblers only. 2 per season is your bag limit.
2 per season.
So we don't have any tags to it's kind of like an honor system for a lot of people, unless, so 2 per season, and everyone's going to be getting excited about that coming up. So
most turkey hunters I know, a lot of them I know, they're all, they go by the rules, and they're really good about that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. And then right now with all that going on, have you heard the sheep's head? Are they coming in pretty good or a little bit?
Well, I have got some good reports, but it hasn't been as abundant as it was last year. But I have got some reports around the jetties, and like I say, your family will try to get some. And
they got a few.
That's sort of what I'm getting. Again, they're spawning again, like the grouper. They're spawning this time of year, so you want to be, like I say, let the big ones go if you can and all. But what about when you've been on the water patrolling? Have you seen a lot of redfish or any?
I've seen a few. I tell you, they're catching some slot reds up at Deer Point Dam. Yeah. And they were catching some sheep's head up there.
Good report.
And then at Cook's Bayou, I saw some trout as usual this time of year. But I was just wondering about the sheep's head because we only caught a few, but that water temp going up, they ought to be heading there if not already there. So.
Yeah, that's a good chance too. And ironically, some folks caught some flounder the other day.
Oh, really?
And I guess they were coming back into the bay, and it's a little bit different report that I got on that.
Yeah, for this time of year.
Yeah, so
cool.
It's been a good winter fishing, but everybody like me and you, we really concentrated on hunting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hitting what we call a transition period from winter to spring.
Yep.
And so we're right in between, and it's, a lot of different things can happen then.
That weather warms up, people are going to come out.
I think we talked about this last time. Duck season was very successful.
Oh, yes.
Wasn't there a lot of ducks out?
There were. And
what do you attribute to that, Travis? What do you think?
It's just been the last several years, our bays, we've had, especially redheads, and people target those, and they're a beautiful duck. I don't know what it is, but West Bay, they have just come down the past several years, and I was worried they weren't going to come this year because it was kind of a mild winter.
Yeah.
But, I talked to a biologist at one point because I was wondering, why can we only shoot 2 redheads? Mm-hmm. And his response was, well, although there are thousands of them out here, and you can go over to Chaltahatchee, and there's a bunch there, and even down to Appalachia, there's a lot there. This Gulf Coast area is really the only place that redheads winter. It's not like they're all over the United States. This is the main wintering ground for them, so they kind of, hesitant to up that bag limit. But.
Yeah, that's a good point there, and that's one of the advantages of your job. If you got a question, you just call your biologist, don't you?
Oh yeah.
And they have a good, legitimate answer.
They've got
they're trained for that.
The research to back it up.
Well, that's a good point. We didn't know that. I'm like you. It seems like look at all these redheads out here.
There's a lot.
And so it was a good year. And Deer Point Lake did well.
They did.
Doing it up there.
They did some wood ducks and a lot of ringnecks and even some bluebills on Deer Point. And then I didn't even get to go on Deer Point. I went up to Econfina and shot some wood ducks. There's a lot of wood ducks up there.
Yeah.
So it was a good year.
Yeah. Now your buddies down in St. Joe Bay, you getting much reports from any of those guys down there on everything looking good that way?
Everything's looking good. I haven't heard much in the bay yet. There are some people starting to surf fish for pompano, and then offshore, since it opened, they're bringing in amberjack and triggerfish. And even with the new size limit of amberjack, we're seeing some big ones come in. I checked some people. Sunday was a beautiful day, and there were a lot of people out, and saw several amberjack that were 35, 36 inches long. Now, they had to run a little bit to get out there to those fish, but yeah, so, I mean, the offshore stuff's starting to heat up.
Yeah, triggerfish, I've gotten, I showed some nice pictures yesterday, got some more to show tomorrow, some nice triggerfish.
I think everybody last year during snapper season, I heard so many stories that we couldn't get past the triggers, and now they've got those spots marked, and when they get a good day, which it's harder to get one this time of year, they're going out and getting them because they are out there thick from what I've heard.
Yep. All right, we're going to take our final break and come back with Travis. We're going to cover the case of the month also. All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Mark Coward of Counts Real Estate. Our time this morning was 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Right on the nose of this evening, 1:21 to 3:21. That's a big good time to get out if you can. All right, cases of the month.
Cases of the month.
Y'all have them every month, don't you?
Every time, it never disappoints. We've always got something going on, and right now, like I said last show, we've had a lot of night hunting cases made. The guys up in Jackson County, Calhoun County, North Walton County, and even over to the west of us, they've been doing a great job catching those guys. And I want to talk about one in particular. This was over to the west of us. Santa Rosa County Officer Jason Hutchinson. He was working in an area and they had some complaints of night hunting. He saw a vehicle come by, shine a field, conducted a vehicle stop, and the man admitted to looking for deer, had a loaded rifle right there in the center console next to him. That was the gun and light charge right there. And then after he started talking to the guy and started looking in the vehicle, there was a cooler with deer meat in the back. So he questioned him about that, and that led to another case where they went back to the man's residence, and he said, "Yep, that was a cow horn buck that I'd shot. Actually, was illegal because of our new antler restrictions." Right. So matched the rack up with the meat, got some statements, and then there was another charge for harvesting an undersized buck. So that was a good case by Officer Hutchinson, and just you never know what something will lead to. You know, you stop for one thing and then you get into other stuff. So.
But what started it, though, you had a concerned citizen that helped out on it, said they're driving around suspicious. Yeah, good deal.
And that's how we get a lot of our stuff. So people that call in, please continue to call in because your eyes and ears out there, and we can't be everywhere. And any information you give, if it leads to us making a case, then you're eligible for the wildlife, alert reward program. So that's just a real good program, and we need people to help us because we're spread thin, really. Yeah. So that was a good case, and then there was another case over toward Apalachicola, Franklin County. We had some officers over there working the oystering, and that area has been really restricted. They're starting to open up more, but over the past year, it's really been cut down because they say it has been over-harvested. Right. And they're trying to get that to come back because everyone knows if you're from Northwest Florida, Apalachicola oysters is like a staple. Everybody wants them, and we want that fishery to come back. So right now, it's real restrictive harvest. We had Officer Don Walker, Susanna Stevens, and Officer Ben Waring. They were working over there, saw a guy oystering. It looked like he was on the border of a closed area. They conducted a stop when he got back to the ramp and measured his oysters. They were 59% undersized. And that's just unacceptable right now in that area in particular because we're really wanting them to come back. So he was cited for that, and then he didn't have his MSD on board. And you got to keep the oysters, any fish, any saltwater products commercial vessel, you have to keep it separate from the bilge area. And he was letting them get down in there, so kind of nasty. But anyways, he was cited for that and written a lot of warnings for some boating safety gear. It was a good case by those guys over there and girls. So
very good.
It's been busy. It's been real busy. hunting's starting to slow down, but people are still, unfortunately, some are still shooting them at night. But for the most part, and I just want to say this, most people follow the rules.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd say, 85, 90% of the people we come into, they're out there to recreate, have a good time, and do the best they can to follow the rules. As we talk about every week, the snapper, grouper, amberjack, all this stuff changes so much. Mm-hmm. We understand that it's hard to keep up. Yeah. But as a responsible angler, that is your responsibility. So, go online and look at this stuff because it's ever changing.
That's true. And you're talking about the season, the hunting season is rapidly going down, but we're looking at these kind of outlaws. They don't really have a season anyway. They're going to continue hunting on in March and July, whatever, night time. So we keep our ears and eyes open year round or something like that. You can see them shining light, or if you live out in the country, a lot of y'all folks do, and they're coming by at 11 o'clock or something, and it's just not a normal sound.
It's not. And if you see something out of the ordinary, call us. If you hear, and that's how most of these night hunting cases are made, you hear a shot late at night, call us. Yeah. And you can kind of hear where it's coming from, and these people, they usually hunt the same areas, so sometimes it leads to a case, sometimes it doesn't, but always give us a call. So another thing too, back to this saltwater fishing real quick, I just wanted to touch on was that FWC has a saltwater rules app. You can get it on your iPhone or your Samsung Galaxy, your Droid, and it's a great app to help ID fish. Yes. If you're trying to tell the difference between a greater amberjack and a banded rudderfish, or a gag and a black grouper, they have a lot of distinguishing characteristics of those fish. Mm-hmm. And maybe next time on the show we can talk about that a little bit, because I'm telling you, technology now, it's so awesome, and it updates like that because it's on the internet, know. So those are just good tools. There's fish rules, and then the MyFWC app's real good too. Yeah,
we've talked about the fish rules before, so and like I say, it shows a good picture and it tells the season's open or closed. It
does, and then it'll say open and closed in state, open and closed in federal. Yeah. So,
and we'll hope to hear something from federal pretty soon on red snapper, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hopefully very soon.
Well, keep us posted on it.
I will.
We're going to have to wrap it up, folks. Thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. I always thank Travis for coming in. All kinds of good stuff and all that. Keep the FWC informed of what's going on in your area also. Thanks, Travis.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it, buddy. Y'all do something good for your fellow man today. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.